What's up, YouTube? It's Diane again here with another episode on Trucking News. So, the burning question, how do you feel about front-facing cameras? For years, driver-facing cameras have been a very unpopular topic in the trucking industry. They give drivers a feeling that their employer is always watching them. Many truck drivers even argue that it violates their right of privacy. The fact that a driver's truck is frequently their home where he or she sleeps and spends most of their free time. But mostly, driver-facing dash cams can be installed and used on a limited time basis. A company should always carefully consider the purposes for which their camera will be used for, and whether there are less invasive ways to gather the information that is needed. If a driver-facing camera is used, the trucking company will be subject to a privacy policy and notice requirements, as well as restrictions on data collection, use, disclosure, and storage. But hey, so many things can happen on the road. With truck drivers always getting the blame, wouldn't you want to prove your innocence? As insurance premiums rise and pressure mounts to improve the driver's safety, some carriers have installed driver-facing cameras in their trucks. Since 2010, the National Transportation Safety Board has advocated for the use of inward and outward-facing cameras in commercial vehicles. Let's see what some drivers had to say. So 68% said, "I would never give up my privacy like that." 24% said, "I'll tolerate them, but I don't like them." 5% said, "It keeps me from being held liable in an accident." 3% said, "I really don't care either way." This topic creates a heated debate between truckers and their employers. But driver-facing cameras might not work the way that you think they do. Trucking companies that utilize in-cab camera systems assure drivers that they are not saving the video continuously. The footage is loaded into a security system, and camera systems are only activated by a triggering event, like hard braking, speeding, and only then the cloud provides employers with a few seconds of video before and after the event happens. So don't worry, no one will see or hear you singing Shania Twain or Celine Dion off-key. All jokes aside, these cameras are meant to keep drivers safe. Drivers are by themselves on the road. If anything were to happen, who will be the ones to back them up if accused of something they didn't do? As you can see in this video,
harsh event detected.
So let's talk a little bit about how these dash cams are going to help you prove your innocence. I mean, before we had these dash cams, our drivers used to get blamed for everything and anything that happens on the road. So our driver can be in his lane and somebody would bump into the driver, and then they would accuse our driver for not staying in his lane. But that's nonsense. Our driver was in his lane and the driver's statement said that he was in his lane, but there was no way to prove the driver's innocence. Well, today when somebody smashes into our truck, just like this example over here, this is a live example, you have here our driver driving straight and you have a minivan coming in from the third lane and basically smashing into him. I mean, this could have been a death on the road. This could have been a major accident had they been driving a little bit faster. Right? So it's these dash cams that are saving our drivers from getting pinned on everything. You know, in the US, they have this 1% rule. It drives me freaking crazy, but they have this 1% rule. If they can prove that your driver was even 1% guilty, they can pin the claim or a portion of the claim onto the insurance company of the truck. Right? So for example, if there's a collision and if your driver is even 1% found guilty, they can pin that accident on your driver. Okay, so these dash cams have helped us multiple times get out of jams. They prove the driver innocence, especially when they say that your driver was not focused. So it shows you the front-facing camera and it shows you the driver-facing camera. All right, so when the driver is looking straight and it shows us his speed, they cannot pin the accident on our driver. There's been so many times, you know, in truck stops, in on the highways, on the road, at the shippers, at the receivers, that things happen to the truck or somebody smashes into them, and these dash cams are proving our driver's innocence. We don't get half as many claims as we used to, and nobody pins anything on us anymore that we didn't do anything wrong, right? But before, without these dash cams, even we were right, they would still pin it on us, and it was nearly impossible to prove the driver's innocence.
So, are driver-facing cameras a deal breaker for you? How would you get yourself out of a sticky situation if you didn't have one? Share your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for tuning in on another episode of the latest trucking news. This is Diane, and we'll see you next week.